Caregiver, salesperson, the patient, the buyer, they want to know why you're different. Why are you different? You're going to tell them. It's because I manage my emotional labor better than they do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Monarch and Moreau, and this channel is dedicated to funeral professionals who, although they don't have the lowest price, they wouldn't mind making the most money. Caregiver, salesperson, that person with the toughest job in the world. Welcome back to our discussion about rhetoric. In the last video, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. There were a number of exercises that I asked you to do every day, minimum of 7 to 10 days. Now we're going to introduce some more exercises, but I want you to continue those same exercise methods with this new technique that we're going to get today. And the technique today is structured rhetoric techniques, moving away from the repetition-based techniques. But again, this rhetoric is for inner self-soul wherewithal. We want to build up that storehouse of inner conviction. We want to know that our value is so much bigger than our price, that when we go to sell the difference, we do so confidently with a curated lexicon that's up to the task. If we want to display high levels of emotional intelligence so we can deliver top quality emotional labor, then we need to take steps to lower our cognitive strain. By having a curated lexicon that's powerful, persuasive, at our disposal, which we're proficient in deploying in the moment, at the point of sale, at the bargaining table, it's going to make all the difference in the world in commanding that premium price. So when you got a lexicon that you have faith in that's curated for the task and you're already confident and proficient in deploying it, your cognitive load is down here and it puts you in a position to display next level emotional intelligence up here. But if the cognitive load is so massive because you got to think of the words, you got to wing it on the spot, you don't have that curated lexicon ready for deployment, you're not proficient in using it, then your cognitive load is high, your emotional intelligence output is going to be low. So we need to be intelligent and we need to be confident. Now, another way to say this is we need to be competent. Competence breeds confidence. When we tattoo and we commit to these words, tattoo them on our heart, when we know these premises to be true, we become unshakable in the moment at the point of sale, at the bargaining table. Now, this is our first premise that we're going to bring forward from the repetition-based techniques of last week and into the structured-based techniques of today. Premise 1, recruitment, the human variable factor now, is a critical factor in achieving a competitive advantage in caregiving. Unlike commodity-based industries where physical labor and product quality can be standardized, caregiving is a human-centric service where individual caregivers' emotional and cognitive capacities and capabilities directly impact the services delivered. Now, here's premise 2. And remember, this is why we're doing it, why we care about words. We want to lower our cognitive load, reduce our cognitive strain so we can display high levels of emotional intelligence. We're going to do that by having that curated lexicon. So premise number 2, vocabulary development, articulation skills, and industry-specific lexicons are foundational to both emotional intelligence and the ability to sustain intentional thought. Caregivers with a rich lexicon are better equipped to process emotions, articulate complex scenarios, and navigate the caregiving landscape with precision. These linguistic tools enable caregivers to understand and apply nuanced emotional labor techniques more effectively. Let's just stop here and let's read this again. Vocabulary development, articulation skills, industry-specific lexicons are foundational. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you accept that? Foundational to both emotional intelligence and the ability to sustain intentional thought. Think about that. If you don't know the words, you don't have words, and you're still trying to describe your problem, how are you going to sustain thought on the solution? You're not going to get there. You're not going to be there. So this is foundational. So if we want to know why we're doing these exercises, why we're curating the specific lexicon that's up for the task, this is why. But this isn't just academic, is it? There's an art to this. We need to be able to paint pictures with those words, bring it to life in vivid detail. And that's where understanding rhetoric is going to help us. And these are the structured-based techniques that we're going to go over today.
Here's the pronunciation key for each of the structure-based rhetorical techniques mentioned. 1, climax. 2, antithesis, chiasmus. 4, parallelism. 5, isocolon. These pronunciation keys follow standard phonetic notation with emphasis on the syllable in bold.
Now, in rhetoric, structured-based techniques focus on the arrangement of words, phrases, clauses to enhance clarity, rhythm, impact. These techniques are going to guide the reader or the listener through your argument or your presentation, gradually building intensity or emphasizing key areas of contrast. Remember, whether we're using climax, antithesis, chiasmus, parallelism, isocolon, the structure of an argument is essentially to make it both memorable and persuasive. Now, we're going to demonstrate the validity of those two key premises using those techniques. Premise 1. Recruitment, the human variable factor, is a critical factor in achieving a competitive advantage in caregiving. Unlike commodity-based industries where physical labor and product quality can be standardized, caregiving is a human-centric service where individual caregivers' emotional and cognitive capabilities directly impact the service delivered. Premise number 2 is vocabulary development, articulation skills. Industry-specific lexicons are foundational to both emotional intelligence and the ability to sustain intentional thought. Caregivers with a rich lexicon are better equipped to process emotions, articulate complex scenarios, and navigate the caregiving landscape with precision. Linguistic tools enable caregivers to understand and apply nuanced emotional labor techniques more effectively. Caregiver, salesperson, the patient, the buyer, they want to know why you're different. Why are you different? You're going to tell them, it's because I manage my emotional labor better than they do.